Good evening, everyone. Good evening to your first project-based module today. And this is going to be a part of your non-technical skill set. It is called as presentation skill enhancement or creating presentations. In order to sort of deliver this module today, we have with us Mr. Rakesh Dhannarapu, the author of 101 Flying Secrets. I am sure you all have heard him on our inauguration day itself. The idea of this particular training is to make sure that you enhance your overall presentation skills. And when I say that, it's not what you present, but how you present at the same time as well. So that is what something which Rakesh will talk you through throughout the session. And once the session is towards the end, we will do a dedicated Q&A session. I want everyone to make a habit of, sitting each and every session of ours with a pen and paper or a pen and notebook and note down all the doubts which you have. Towards the end, we'll have a dedicated Q&A session whereby all your queries will be resolved. And after that, we will allocate your first task or your first project based on what you have learned today. So without any further ado, Rakesh, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Subhashish. It's really nice to be back here after 3 months looking at all the students here. In some point in time, a few days ago, I was also there sitting in your seat as a student looking at how do I upskill myself and move forward in this journey of aviation. And good evening, everyone, once again. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. So myself, Rakesh, so I'm the author of the book 101 Flying Secrets, and my master's, I've done it in aviation, specializing in aviation safety and risk management from Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia. And I've done my bachelor's in aerospace engineering from SRM University. I'm currently working as a safety risk management specialist with an organization called Momentum India. And I would love to connect with you all over my LinkedIn here. So if you see how passionate I am about aviation, the end of my URL, you can spot aviator, AV8R. That is how you also denote aviation. So that's easy to remember. So I hope to connect with you all over my LinkedIn soon. Now, what exactly is a presentation? I think I've asked this question previously in the first slide itself. What does come in? What do you get into your head when I say presentation? A lot of you said communication, two-way communication, expressing something, or even showing or showcasing some kind of an idea. For me, I believe that a presentation is a medium to convey ideas which are worth sharing. Now, let us say I don't have an idea which is worth sharing. What is the whole point of putting a presentation if I have to just make a routine conversation with you? I wouldn't do that thing, right? I would look like a fool if I put up a presentation just to communicate some basic informal thing with you. So therefore, only when you have an informative or an idea which is worth sharing, or a presentation or encapsulation of information which is worth sharing, that is the only time you make a presentation. That is to grab the attention of your audience in a beautiful manner. Now, coming to types of presentation. Now, there are different sorts of presentation here. The very first being to inform. Now, let us say you have joined Srinivas University in this point in time where there's a COVID wave and there is an orientation scheduled for you. Now that you can't go and attend in a physical manner at the university because most of the universities are possibly shut right now, what they would do is they would put up an online virtual session just like us right now. And they would inform with regards to your orientation as to what you do as a student, what you get to do in the university, and all of that thing. Now, that kind of a presentation is to inform because you're not aware about something, and therefore they're informing you or sharing that information with you. That kind of a presentation becomes an informational kind of a presentation. Coming to the second one, now all your online classes come and fall under education. Now, this is a one-way kind of a scene right now because a lot of lecturers are only here to deliver and not expect anything back with regards to their online sessions. Now that becomes your education side of the presentation. Now to persuade. Now let us say I'm an organization and I'm pitching a particular product that I'm saying all the students at Srinivas University should be using this particular tab because it has so and so applications that is going to guarantee success in their career. Now I will create a pitch, a presentation deck where I would try and convince your faculty and also the students and sell my problem statement and my product in such a way where I convert your attention into my sale. Now that would be a means to use a presentation to persuade someone. Now, when you look at engineering organizations, now let us say there is aircraft manufacturer, Airbus or Boeing. Now, there are a lot of engineers working at Airbus and Boeing, and they have numerous problems to solve on a daily basis. Now that they have solved a particular problem, and now they have to present this solution or pitch this solution to someone up higher in their hierarchy. What they would do is they would create a presentation, put the problem statement, and portray or showcase their entire solution and the idea behind that solution. Now you could also use presentations to solve problems or to show your solution for solving a particular problem. And the final thing, now that is the thing that I'm intending to do with my presentation, which is not to inform or educate you, but to inspire. Because I'm not just telling you what I want you to do with your presentations, but I'm also showing it to you with regards to my presentation design and template, and trying to inspire you as to how to make an impactful and a beautiful presentation. So these are the basic types of presentations that you would always come across. Now, how many of you would agree that a presentation should be essentially enjoyable and effective? Do you think, is there anything else apart from these two elements that a presentation should be having? If so, please throw in your answers in the chat box. Is there anything else that the presentation should be having apart from these two important elements? One being making it enjoyable for people, because I am very aware that the remote to my presentation is not with me. The remote to my presentation is in your hands. If you do not enjoy my presentation, you will directly switch it off from your mind, or probably this would be running on the screen and you would be on your phone. All right. We have someone say that it has to be understandable. Right. Now, Radhika, thank you so much. Okay, John says attention seeking for the audience. Absolutely. Now, how do we seek attention, or how do we make it understandable? Yes, learning as well. Thank you so much, Wasim. Yeah. So how do we make it, correct information? All right. All right. Thank you so much, Altaf. Thank you. Thank you so much for the inputs. So how do we make it informative or attention grabbing, or, all that you said right now? We can only do that by making it much more effective, making it potent. Shorter period of time, but a greater impact is all we are looking at. Therefore, always remember that two most important elements in any presentation when you plan to do a presentation or design a presentation is it has to be enjoyable, and secondly, it has to be effective. Now, without these two, it is like, either having a right eye or a left eye. So without having two eyes, you wouldn't have a perfect vision at all. So therefore, please do remember these two elements. Now, how do you make your presentation effective? I need your inputs for this. How do you think you can make your presentation effective? You can also tell me what have you done previously to make your presentations effective. Answers, please. Come on, answers, please. What have you done previously? Okay, being loud and clear. Perfect. That actually pulls in the attention. Avoid paragraphs. Very good answer, Devansh. Aishwarya says present with examples. Absolutely right. So you need to be showing what you actually preached there. Perfect. By keeping it interactive. Naina, thank you so much for the answer. We have another answer as well. Do not drag. Yes. Keep it short, keep it effective. Sound modulation. So that would be voice modulation, just as you said. Thank you so much, Abhijit. Being understandable, confidence. All right, perfect. So yes, so you have a good idea with regards to how to make your presentation effective. Right now, I am going to give you a tool which will be a catalyst, something that is going to change your perception as to how to formulate a presentation. And this would be through a small framework that I usually love sharing and love putting to use all the time. Now, this framework is called as the audience transformation map. Now, why do we have to understand about the audience here? Whom are you going to present? You're only going to present it to your audience, right? Therefore, your presentation has to be encapsulated in such a manner that you give it to the audience the way they seek it, not the way you want to give it. You can give the information that you want to share in a language or in a way in which they would be willing to accept or they would be easily understanding. So therefore, you need to understand where your audience comes from, what are their ideas, what is their knowledge. I mean, now I know that you're all coming from Srinivas University, from a BBA course. And apart from that thing, we have also done, the UDAN team has also done a small skill gap survey with you all with regards to presentation. And 48% of you have agreed that you all have medium skills. I mean, good enough skills in presentation, but you also agreed that there is a scope for you to improve on that thing. Now, this is the kind of idea that we want to have, so that me as a presenter or a facilitator of this session right now can understand and bridge the gap with you all. If I wouldn't have had that idea, I would have my presentation would have completely gone as a bouncer to you all. Now that I've understood that thing, I have designed my session in that regard so that, I can give what you're expecting out of me. Now, that is one of the most important ways of creating an effective presentation. Now, as easy as that being said right now, I need a framework. We all love frameworks because it gives us a set parameter. Now, if you look at this entire matrix here, which I call as the audience transformation map, because you are looking at transforming the ideas, the thoughts, the beliefs, the feelings, or the knowledge that the audience have before you presented on a certain topic to something which is better, or towards an idea that you want the audience to have. Now, let us say a lot of people think that aviation safety or aviation security is not that effective. Now, that is the idea that they must be having, or that is what they believe. But you as an aviation professional know that people within the aviation industry go to any extent to make sure that the safety and security of both the human beings as well as the aircraft or the aviation assets are completely safeguarded, both in a safety manner and with regards to security as well. But how do you express that? You can only connect that gap where the people think that aviation safety and security is not effective compared to your idea or your practical idea as to it is one of the most secure industry. How do you connect that gap between the audience and yourself? You would want to be using a idea here. Now, that idea could be, I would pull up a video from Federal Aviation Administration where they illustrate with regards to different layers of safety or security. To be very frank, there is this organization within America which looks at the safety, the security part of aviation in entire America. Now, that is called Transport Safety Administration, TSA. Now, they look at entire security of the aviation ecosystem in America. The reason being, after 9/11, where the hijacked aircraft crashed into the World Trade Center, it was a completely transformational time in aviation. Now, TSA has made literally 20 to 21 different layers of security that a person unknowingly passes through before he can board the aircraft. Now, that is the level of security that America is following. But this is something the general aviation public, which would generally be your audience, right? When you present, you would be presenting to such an audience. And this piece of information is something they wouldn't be completely aware of. Now, what will I do? Now, I knowing that, there is a potential infographic which shows 21 layers of security that TSA has for aviation security, I would put up that infographic on my slide. Or rather, I would put up a small video where an aviation security expert is talking through about how security is managed in aviation. So with that idea being put on my slide, the perception of the audience who have said or who have possibly thought or believed that aviation security is ineffective would now be transformed to an idea that you're trying to impart, which is aviation industry is one of the most safest and the most secure industry. Do you get me, friends? Now, please let me know if you haven't understood this thing. You can put it in the chat box if you have understood. Just say yes, you have understood or something as such. Because this is one of the most effective tool that you will be using in order to plan your presentation and understand your audience. All right, thank you so much, Ashwin. Is Ashwin the only one who has understood? Okay, Adira, thank you so much. Great, Radhika, thank you. Wow, perfect, perfect. I like this thing. Thank you so much. Great. So by using this audience transformation map, all we are trying to do is we are trying to transform what the audience before your presentation know about the topic or believe about the topic that you're presenting about, or they feel about the topic, or what they do with regards to that topic. We want to change all those perceptions from what they know to what you want them to know by using or bridging that gap or plugging that gap by the ideas that you have. Now, ideas could be possibly telling a story which is related to the subject that you're talking about, or possibly using some statistics, facts, information, or trivia, or videos, or some kind of an infographic. All such things become your ideas, right? So this is an important tool which I also look forward for you all to put your hands onto and start mapping out for your assignment as well. Now here I would like to give away a few resources to you all in order to help you with your presentations. Now, through a survey, it was found that literally more than 70% of the people looked at Microsoft PowerPoint as the go-to tool when they have to make a presentation. Now, Microsoft has also evolved this product on a very large basis. You have very good templates right now. It is not like the previous versions. The current versions are amazing, so you can always use the Microsoft PowerPoint. Apart from that thing, the most favorite, the world famous and the world's most favorite designing platform right now, which is Canva. You have numerous number of templates out there. You can play around with those templates to make your presentations. And the final thing, this is a very interesting and a secret tool that I think not a lot of people are aware of. Prezi, but Prezi helps you create dynamic presentations. But I only recommend you to do this thing once you have had a very good experience as to the trial and error as to how this Prezi thing works. And since the files are dynamic in nature, they keep moving, the presentation keeps moving or evolving. You need to have good amount of time to make a presentation there, and you need to have a good bandwidth because the file is going to be heavy as well. So these are the three resources that I would like to give it to you for the presentation resources. Yeah. And finally, a lot of the people keep asking me, where do you get good quality images from? Because that is what they see across everything that I design or everything I put out for the world to see. I get my images from two of these sources, one being pexels.com and the second one being unsplash.com. Now, when I speak about these two websites are called royalty-free image websites. That means anyone who uploads a picture here, you can directly go there, download his picture and use it without giving any kind of a reference to his work, because that picture that he uploaded is his effort, it is his intellectual property. And if you download those images from these websites, you don't have to give any kind of a reference. But if you're using a picture, let us say from a newspaper, now where do newspapers get most of their images from? Newspapers get most of their images from photojournalists. Now, a photojournalist is a person who works for a newspaper, who goes out there on the land, goes at the crime scene or some news event and starts clicking pictures. That is his effort, his intellectual property. Therefore, when you use any sort of an image from the internet, from some kind of a website or from your Google search or from articles or blogs or newspapers, always give reference to that person. Now that we have explored a few resources for images, I would like to give you one of the most important ingredient to make your presentations both effective, enjoyable, and something which keeps you satisfied. And that is called Meraki. Now, Meraki is to do something with your soul, your creativity, or with love, and to put something of yourself into your work as if there is no separation between what you are doing and what you are. That level of involvement. When you create a presentation, be so passionate, be so immersive in your experience that with every presentation that you create, you leave behind a small part of yourself with the presentation. Now, that is the kind of impact that you give by putting this Meraki or a part of yourself or putting a part of your soul into your presentations. So this is my last slide, and therefore I hope that this entire module helps create a airworthy you.
So Sumuk KM is asking a very actually good question. How to increase our confidence while presenting?
All right. So how do you increase confidence? Now, the first thing is, how is your content being placed? If you do not understand your audience, your content would be completely misplaced. That means you're out there standing as a joker in front of your audience, not being capable enough of delivering what they are looking out for. So therefore, your content has to be properly mapped. And apart from that thing, repetitively practice. The best kind of ideas that I get and the best kind of perfection that I get from my work is in my bathroom, to be very frank. When I'm having my bath, that is when I get very good ideas. And once I come out of the shower, I note it down, I execute, and that becomes successful. That is one part. Apart from that, I use that space to rehearse. I'm trying to go free flow. I start speaking about my presentation, or I'm thinking, how do I stimulate that experience into myself? So, therefore, a lot of practice in front of the mirror, or by yourself, or by speaking it out to your friends or your family members will definitely help you become confident. No one just becomes confident accidentally. It is the trust in their content and their practice that makes them confident. Next question, Subhashish.
Right. So next question is by John. It's on similar lines. How can I overcome stammering during a presentation?
So I think stammering and anxiety comes to everyone because you're mounting that responsibility of going out there in front of someone and delivering it out in front of them. So therefore, if you have to suppress this thing, you'll have to look at the bigger picture, and the practice has to come through. So if you practice, if you deliver 4 or 5 mock sessions to your friends, then obviously you're just thinking, presenting to my peers or my faculty is just another session. If you don't do those initial 4 or 5 sessions, and if you're directly planning to go out there right in front of your faculty and going to deliver it, then obviously that is going to be a futile session for you because you won't be confident, and the impact of your delivery wouldn't be up to the mark. So therefore, practice, practice, practice. Probably this is like my 8th or 9th delivery of this session, and most of them, apart from this is my 3rd delivery for VISTA, but before that probably I would have done 5 or 6 run throughs for me to get that connection or that lucidity in my delivery.